Today is one of those bright sunny days that most landscape photographers absolutely dread. Outside dawn and dusk, the shooting opportunities are minimal. The light conditions are just far too harsh and they're just not conducive to getting effective shots at all. The original plan today was to get up at 4 in the morning and go to a beautiful location to get a sunrise shot. This is a spot that I've had in my mind for weeks, and finally the weather conditions were absolutely perfect to go to that spot, so I was really geared up and excited about getting that. But I slept in, didn't I? So yeah, that didn't happen. Needless to say, I was a bit gutted. However, I did have a little bit of a brainwave of a location that I could come to try and make the most of these bright blue skies. My idea was rapeseed oil. There's only actually a handful of fields on the Isle of Man that have rapeseed oil. It's the kind of thing that I've wanted to shoot for years, but for one reason or another, I've just never got round to it. I think the flowering season on these plants is quite short, and if you don't get here at the optimum time, you're just going to miss it. However, today, I did a little bit of investigation work. I tracked down the owner of these particular fields, got his permission, and I'm actually here. And it's pretty amazing, actually. It's pretty amazing. I've never shot a location quite like this. It's so minimal, but so eye-catching at the same time. Really quite stunning. The actual skies have actually got a little bit more interesting as well. If you look behind me, you can kind of see we're not getting these flat blue skies. We're actually getting quite wispy clouds through the sky. So I think that'll add a lot of interest into the shots. So I'm going to walk around this field, try and find sort of a minimal composition, and what I'm looking for is I just want the yellow of the field and the blue of the sky with some wispy clouds, and that is really it. I don't want any other distractions in the shot. I've never visited a rapeseed field before, but one thing I've quickly learned is this place is an absolute nightmare for hay fever sufferers, and I happen to be a hay fever sufferer. The pollen is absolutely coating all my clothes. You probably can't see it on this footage, but it's very fine and it's very sticky, and yeah, it's a bit of a nuisance, to be honest. So if I start looking like the Elephant Man halfway through this video, you know exactly why that is. The other point is, if you've got any kind of phobia of wasps and bees, oh, give these fields a wide berth. There are millions of them here, everywhere. So I feel I'm probably one bad move away from getting stung on the face as well. So I found the composition that I'm going to try and shoot. Now, when searching for a composition here, it wasn't really so much a job of trying to find something to put in the image, because frankly there's not too much to put in the image. The job here was to try and find the right angle to shoot given the light conditions and given the topography of the actual ground. So firstly, the light is kind of behind me at the moment. That means I'm shooting against it and I'm getting really nice deep blue skies in this part of the sky, and that is what I want. I want deep contrast in the sky against the yellow of the field, so that ticks the first box there. Also, in the topography of the land, I'm looking for a relatively flat horizon, and I'm getting that here. It's not perfect, it slopes a little bit off to the side, but generally it's not too bad. Also, the way that the hill slopes down towards me means that I'm not getting any distractions along the horizon, like rogue trees or hedge lines. I don't want those bits of green in the shot. I simply want the yellow and the blue of the sky. In terms of the actual balance of the shot, I'm actually putting the rapeseed in the bottom third of the shot, and I'm dedicating the other 2/3 to the sky above. Now, I'm getting these beautiful wispy clouds behind me. I'm sure you can see them over my shoulders at the moment, and they're really adding a lot of interest to the skies. So I think I've actually got quite lucky there. So yeah, all in all, the weather conditions have actually come together quite well for me. In terms of settings, I'm shooting at about f13, 100th of a second, ISO 64 at about 28mm, and I'm going to try and do a bit of focus stacking as well to add that little bit of depth through the shot and to make sure that I get the foreground rapeseed flowers in sharp focus. The only thing that's going slightly against my favour in that is there's a little bit of a breeze today, so there's going to be some movement between the different exposures. So post-processing these together might be a little bit of a challenge. overall, I'm pretty happy with how that shot's actually turned out. If you look behind me, a lot of the wispy clouds have now dissipated from my composition area, which is about here. So I feel if I was to shoot the same shot now, I don't think it would have the same impact or interest within the image. I really feel those wispy clouds made all the difference. So in some ways, I very much got lucky by coming here at exactly the right time and moment to get that shot. So overall, I think it turned out relatively well. Whether the shot's too minimal, I'm not sure. I'll leave that up for you to decide. But given the location and the time of day I came here, I don't think I could have done much more with this. I did try alternate ideas. So another idea I had was to try and get low, kind of a bit like this, and shoot through the flowers and try and get some nice bokeh on some of the foreground flowers. But I wasn't really feeling it. For me, it wasn't an effective shot. I think there probably is something that could be worked with there, but I think it would take an awful lot of time and effort to get the right composition to unlock that kind of image. So I think that's it for today's shoot. I am starting to suffer a little bit from hay fever, and I think I've exhausted the opportunities here. I'm pretty content with the shot, and I don't think there's too much more left to capture here. But overall, what a beautiful location this is. It really, really is. I don't think the shot that I've got is particularly outstanding, but it got me to this location and to experience this, and that is ultimately what makes landscape photography the amazing thing it is. It draws you and brings you to places like this that I wouldn't otherwise experience. And this is a beautiful, beautiful location. It's unlike any location that I've shot before. This uniformity in colour in every sort of direction is quite incredible and quite a challenge as well. It's unlike anything I usually shoot, but that's a good thing. It pushes my boundaries and it gets me to look at landscapes in a slightly different way. So yeah, if you've got any rapeseed oil fields in your general location, I would highly, highly recommend that you get out and try and shoot them while you can before the flowers die off. Do ask the permission of the landowner though, little disclaimer there. But yeah, I feel a little bit summery now, which is a very hard thing to accomplish on the Isle of Man. I mean, weather like this is a bit of a rarity here at times. But yeah, what a day. If you enjoyed this little rapeseed fest, then subscribe to my channel and I'll see you again with more content. Goodbye.